Recording in progress.
So welcome everybody to, is it me? Yeah.
I think Natasha's other sound suddenly worked. There we go.
Okay.
Oh, did my sound work?
I don't know.
Yes, your sound works. So welcome everybody to April 2023 ADHD support group meeting. And tonight we've got Coach Tash, who's an ADHD coach, and she'll be presenting to us tonight. So welcome and thank you so much, Tash, for volunteering to do this.
Thanks,
You're
Tash.
welcome. Cool, guys. Yeah, so it's holiday time. My kids have actually just gone back to school yesterday, but I know that there are other schools that are on a holiday. So I thought that I'd do a session about managing the holidays, and this isn't just about if you're a parent or if you're a kid. This is for everybody. So I've kind of looked at this from three different angles. As an adult, how do you manage the holidays? Because holidays can be quite overwhelming. So if you're an adult with ADHD, how do you manage the holidays? If you're a parent of an ADHD, how do you manage the holidays? And then also if you are an ADHD kid, what can you do to support yourself with regards to managing the holidays? So sorry, I just want to move my camera over a bit so that I can see the presentation. Yeah. So I thought it'd be a great time to talk about it. And I mean, this is obviously, we still have a lot of long weekends coming up. So I think that even though maybe some of the schools have gone back, there's still other schools and other parents and other adults that are going to benefit from the advice that's in here. And I think holiday time can be very overwhelming because we're out of our routine. We're also often dealing with a lot of social environments and interactions which we don't normally deal with. And so, so I'm going to just be offering some tips and strategies for adults and children on how to help manage the holiday season. And as we always start off with the support group, just for those who are new to the support group, with a little bit of background information about ADHD. And ADHD is a neurodevelopmental disorder, and it affects both adults and children. And the symptoms of ADHD include inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. Which means that, we struggle to manage time. We become quite time blind. We can struggle with organization and with completing tasks. And during the holidays, that can exacerbate these symptoms because there's a lot of increased demands on us and additional stresses which we don't deal with in our day-to-day lives. So just looking at ADHD, there's three different types of ADHD. You get the inattentive type, which is the daydreamy type. And this subtype has difficulty on paying attention and staying focused on tasks, but they don't really exhibit the hyperactivity that is traditionally associated with ADHD. And this the one that we, I think, so often see and hear about in the media is the hyperactive impulsive type. And that's where people have difficulty sitting still. They may fidget and squirm and talk excessively. And they're acting impulsively without really considering the consequences of their actions. But the most of us, I think, are a bit of the combined type, and we exhibit the symptoms of both types. And it just depends on different circumstances of which type might play the bigger role at that time. It's also important to remember that you don't grow out of ADHD. It is often diagnosed in children. Although there are a lot of adults that are diagnosed later in life that were maybe missed because there wasn't as much awareness about ADHD, say some 20 years ago. And it's something that, kind of does persist throughout life. So if we look at tips for, strategies for adults with ADHD during the holidays, now, if we remember that, the types of things that we might exhibit if we're an adult with ADHD is that, we might struggle with time blindness, also with our executive functioning and organization, starting something and not finishing things. So those are the kind of things that you could see adults struggling with ADHD. And so it's really important to set realistic expectations. on yourself, so it's not to put too much pressure on yourself, focus on the important stuff, and just be realistic. It's the holidays. Don't set up too much stuff for yourself to do. Don't make that to-do list too long. Also make sure you prioritize self-care. And this for different people means different things. So it could mean, just maybe you've got a favorite Netflix series that you're watching. Maybe it means taking a walk or going to the gym. Practicing yoga and meditation is great for ADHDers. And it's maybe just indulging in a hobby that you enjoy. And also it's really, really important to remember to eat well. I think during the holidays, temptation is to, maybe have a little bit of a feast or a lot of feasts, depending on what your family is like. And, there's lots of social functions and there's lots of cakes and sugars and all sorts of things. And it's important to just remember to take care of yourself, so emotionally, psychologically, physically, just really prioritize your self-care during the holiday time. Make use of a planner or a calendar or your phone alarm system, however it is, whatever it is that you're using at the moment, because it's easy to forget things. During the holidays, there's a lot going on. Distractions are numerous. And, it's important to have those notifications coming through just to remind you of what you've committed to and where, you were planning to be when. And there's nothing wrong with delegation, guys. Feel fine. It's absolutely fine to be delegating tasks and to sharing it. It's the holidays and you can ask for help. If you are hosting a gathering, a lunch or something like that, ask everybody to bring a dish, or perhaps ask someone to take the kids out for a walk while, you do the final preparations, so that you can focus on just getting done what you need to get done without, the constant interruptions of the kids, asking for this or playing with that and then distracting you from what your actual target was that you were trying to get done. And take breaks. If you're feeling overwhelmed, go for a walk or find a quiet spot to charge. It's that goes part of the prioritize your self-care. For me, one of the biggest things with regards to holidays is just to plan ahead. It's about making sure that you know what you've got coming up and then just planning for that ahead. If you have a birthday or if there's presents that are required for the holidays, it's Christmas or Eid or even Easter, organize the presents in advance, know what you're going to cook if you're cooking a meal, making sure that you have the ingredients in the house, to just plan ahead. And then also another thing is to stay organized. So just keep your space and your belongings organized, make sure you know where you leave your keys, have that designated space, because that can reduce the stress and anxiety. And if you need be, use labels. That can also be really, really helpful. One of the things that we all maybe really struggle with is to say no. And, it's absolutely okay to say no. Sometimes during the holidays, and actually it's not even just during the holidays, it's just in real life. There's so much on the go and it can be difficult to say no when that invitation comes in. But it's okay to say no. And sometimes we need to prioritize ourselves and be able to say no, even if we have nothing else on, but we actually just need that time to just be at home and engage in one of our hobbies. Maybe we want to cook. Maybe we want to watch a Netflix series. You can see Netflix is coming up. I've watched a couple of really good Netflix series recently, so that's my go-to when I need a break. And manage your expectations. Sometimes we can put too much pressure on ourselves. Sometimes our expectations are really high. We try and, we believe we can conquer the world. If we're planning a lunch, my husband always says to me, just keep it simple, please. Just can we keep it simple? Because I think that that's one of my things, is that I need to manage my expectations of what it is that is achievable, because otherwise I can just go completely over the top. And seek support, reach out to friends, family, support groups and help, just for some help and understanding during the holidays, having someone to talk to. Just, if you have that bag of worries and you open up your bag of worries and you talk to somebody about it, often and a lot of them just disappear just by being able to share. So those are my tips for adults with ADHD during the holidays, just for ways to stay focused and have a more enjoyable holiday. I'm going to move on to talking about tips for adults and for kids during the holiday. But before I do that, I thought I'd just go to the group and see if there's any questions or comments or observations or anything that anybody would like to share.
I also just think, managing your what you do with your holidays, because often, when you have ADHD, it seems like a great idea to just, say, all right, I'm gonna be a total couch potato, lay on the couch, do absolutely nothing. But then our ADHD mind gets the better of us, and we laying there wallowing in this guilt about what we should be doing, and we're spending so much time worrying about what happens when the holiday ends or other stuff that we don't actually get any time to relax. So sometimes just being intentional about the way you spend your time in the holiday. So if you're going to watch a movie, then do it, but do it properly. Like, get popcorn, get Smarties, get slush puppy that you put in the freezer, and then but make a event out of it. So a little bit of preparation in that goes into your relaxation time can make it so much more relaxing than if you think, all right, I'm just not gonna get dressed and I'm gonna lay on the couch, because often, life with your ADHD mind, especially if you're not taking your pill, your medication or whatever during the holidays, it just gets crowded. So you end up getting off the couch feeling more tired than you were before your holiday even started. So just, being a bit intentional and focusing on what matters and taking that time to make special memories with the people that you love, with your kids, with your partner, whoever it is. It can make that relaxation time a lot more relaxing than if you just try and wing it.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. And I think that, that's where the planning comes in. And yeah, I think that's a great additional point to add to the conversation. Absolutely. And I think, and I mean, I experienced that, it's that, yeah, I'm just gonna be a couch potato, and then I'm like, oh my god, I'm so bored.
Right? And boredom's a killer with ADHD. When you're bored, then you think about, your impulsivity kicks in, or your guilt, or your that negative self-talk. It all just feeds off that mental boredom. So if you are going to, relax, if your intention is to relax, then you need to just be a bit proactive about making sure that the time you spend relaxing is actually used on relaxing, and not, driving yourself crazy with, what you should be doing, or what you have to get on top of when the term starts again, or, all that other stuff that drives you nuts.
And I think what you've just said, it's also made me think of another thing, which I didn't, put on this list, but it's about, the financial planning as well, because sometimes, that impulsive spending can really knock us off track of our budgets. And I think that, the reality is that, holidays, can be expensive, because there's so much socializing that we're doing, or, we're out of our normal routine. And I think it's just to have that budget and to be cognizant about our spending and aware, so that, we don't be too impulsive in that manner either, so that we come back from holiday and we spend, that whole January, which becomes February, because it's all just gotten a bit out of control. Sorry, I dropped my phone. There we go. Cool. Is there anyone else who has anything they want to share? Cool. So let's talk about if you are a parent. So sorry, just going on. So for kids who have ADHD, and sorry, I've got this, I've got my, what's it called? The top of the Zoom call here, so I can't see my my title for this slide. But I mean, effectively, this is tips for parents to manage the ADHD if they have ADHD kids during the holidays. And so for kids, the holiday season can be especially challenging. I know, like for my daughter, you know, she doesn't want to take her meds during the holidays. You know, she wants to have eating days and she wants to have fun. And so, you know, she really doesn't want to take her meds during the holidays. And that creates a whole different experience for her. And a lot of it is amazing and positive, but a lot of it can be quite challenging. You know, it's that emotional dysregulation that can kick in, which, you know, can be quite difficult for her. And it's difficulty in being patient and waiting for activities and or staying still during, you know, the holiday gatherings where we're all sitting at the table. So here are some tips for parents. And the number one tip is to stick to a routine and have clear boundaries. And that maybe is quite a hard one to have during the holidays. But it doesn't mean that your routine has to be the same routine as it is during the normal year that you're trying to stick to. You know, create a holiday routine and then communicate around that about, you know, what's going to happen, you know, about what time is wake time. Then there's breakfast. What do we do? Technology. What are the boundaries around technology? What is screen time now? When is playtime? What's happening, you know? So I think it's so important to have a routine and have clear boundaries and to communicate those boundaries and agree them together. Because the thing about ADHD kids is they love being part of the solution. So if you give them a couple of options and say, would you like to have bedtime at 9 or 9:30? And if it's at 9:30, then what time are we going to do bath time and get ready with regards to that? So that they're part of the solution, you know, that they're not sitting in a situation where they're being dictated to about what it is that's going on. They're part of that solution and the planning, which they really, really enjoy. Sorry, I've got my Zoom popping up there. All right, cool. And then communicate with family and friends. Not everybody understands about ADHD. And if you communicate with family and friends, if you're going on a group holiday, you know, if you just create awareness about, you know, how your family functions during the holiday, what it is that you need, manage expectations, it can make for a much easier holiday period. And prepare your child. You know, sometimes I know I'm really guilty of this. You know, I'm so busy making plans and creating amazing things and, you know, getting all into what I'm going to do and plan. And this is what we've got, all the fun we're going to have, that I don't always sit my kids down and say, this is what's going to happen. This is what it's going to be like. And this is what the expectations is. So I don't really prepare them for what's going to happen. And, you know, it's one of the things that my kids have given me feedback on that is really important to them. And they're like, you know, it's one of the things that they ask from me. Can you just let me know what's going to happen so that I can understand and I can prepare myself? And I think all of us like to know what's going to happen so that we can prepare ourselves. And it's important to have a plan, you know, just be prepared, understand what it's going to be like when you're in the restaurant and the food is taking long and all of a sudden the kids are really, really hungry. You know, do you have something in your bag that you can pull out for them to play with? If there is a tricky situation that arises, how are you going to deal with it? So just have a plan in place so that, you know, you are not caught off guard. And especially for the kids as well, that they kind of know, like if they're feeling out of their depth or they're suddenly socially anxious, that maybe there is a secret little hand squeeze that they can give you so that you know where they are and how they're feeling. And then you can agree like what the way that you guys are going to manage that. And that can be really, really helpful, especially when you're on holiday and there's sometimes quite a lot of unknowns that comes with holidays. As parents, we need to practice self-care. It's busy, you know, and if you're a parent with ADHD, you need to practice 2 times as much self-care. So take some time to rest and recharge and make the holidays fun. I think that that's what Graham was saying, it's about memories, so create fun activities, things that, your child enjoys and that they can be a part of. We went somewhere a couple of years ago where they just had, 6 sticks, I think it is. And they played a game called Foursquare, where they put the sticks in a cross like this, and then they put the sticks around in a square, and you just bounce the ball, and you move from being the king, and if it hits the stick, you're out. And we had the best fun with something so simple, and it's something that we've brought home with us, and that we play in the garage all the time. So just focus on having fun activities, and that will make the holidays so much more memorable. And be flexible. I always have this great plan of what. Sorry, yeah.
Just your screen's gone. Your presentation's gone.
Oh, is it? Okay, sorry. Let me go back. I think
I've given you.
I think it's dropped it's dropped the call from my laptop, so that's why the screen's gone. So I'm just going to quickly rejoin the call from the laptop, and then I can present again.
Okay, I can also share from our side if you want.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
But I should be back in. I don't know if you. Here we go. So let me share screen.
Okay, let's see.
No,
I can do it.
Nope, I'm there.
There we go.
It should be sharing.
Thank you. Thanks, Tash.
There we go. Thanks for letting me know. Cool. Okay, perfect. So everyone can see. Okay. Yeah, so we were just talking about being flexible, which is over here. And that's, I can have all the plans in the world, and this is firstly, I'll probably overschedule us, because I imagine we can do 100 things in 2 minutes. But other than that, it's just sometimes the kids are tired. Sometimes they want to do something else, and it's important to be flexible so that you don't miss out on all the amazing surprise things that can just, come up. And be aware, your kids, so observe them. You'll see from their body language how they are in a situation, and you can watch out for triggers, and then you can preempt any stressful situations that you can see that might arise, and be their safe space. Because, sometimes when they're struggling, they need a safe space. They need somebody who they can come to and they can vent, or you can intervene before it escalates, and take them for a walk and go and, I don't know, find stones and flowers and things, or whatever it is that you love doing together, just to, distract them from whatever it is that was stressing them. And so there are a couple of tips for parents. And I think it's important, we often always seem to think of things from an adult's point of view, but, I think it's so important for kids to be able to self-advocate, and to learn to self-advocate in a safe environment, like a family environment, so that, as they grow older, they can expand their self-advocation out into the school environment and start to communicate with people about what it is that they need. And so here are some tips for kids for during the holidays, in order to help them manage their holidays. And the thing is to communicate with your parents or the people that you are on holiday with, whether it's your friends or your caregivers or whoever it might be. Let them know how you're feeling. If you're feeling anxious, talk to them and let them know what you need in order to feel more comfortable. Because I'm sure they'd be very happy to accommodate that. Use a fidget toy. My daughter has a bag that she always brings on holiday or out to dinner or wherever we go. It's just little knickknacks in it, which really help her, to just stay focused, to calm down, keep her entertained. So, just whatever your favorite thing is that helps you to stay centered when you feel a little bit overwhelmed, bring that with you. Practice mindfulness. There's mindful exercises that you learn in coaching or that are available online just to help you stay calm and know where to go to when you are feeling overwhelmed. Things like some deep breathing, or maybe shifting your attention and focusing on how many green things you can see in a room or how many red things you can see in a room. And stick to your medicine routine. It's so tempting during the holidays to have a no meds feast, but the meds really do help, to stay on track, to manage emotional dysregulation. So, stick to your medication routine where you can, and use your coaching tools that we learn in coaching that, help to make those, situations where you are out of your comfort zone and in a new environment that much more manageable. And take breaks. If you're in a crowded, noisy space, find a quiet spot to relax and recharge, because all of that sensory overload with so many people and the noises and the visual stimuli can be very, very overwhelming. And get enough sleep. This is probably the most challenging one during the holidays, because if you're anything like my kids, they think that a holiday is an excuse for zero sleep. Let me see if I can stay up all night. But yeah, sleep is so important. It's so important for us to just have a great day the next day is by feeling rested. So make sure you get enough sleep and plan ahead. If you know that you're going to a restaurant and that there's going to be lots of adults that are going to be talking for a long time, bring something to play with. Or if it's going to be too noisy for you, think about bringing some headphones and listening to some music. Whatever it is that you know that you need in order to have a great day and have a great experience, just pack it with you so that you can plan ahead. And self-advocate, communicating to the people around you about what you need and how they can support you will really also be hugely beneficial. And practice awareness. It's important for you to understand your ADHD, understand what your comorbidities are, what the symptoms you have and that you experience. What is that? So that when it appears, you can recognize it and you can say, oh, I know that. That is a comorbidity of my ADHD. And sometimes I feel like that, but it isn't really maybe what's happening. And I think rejection sensitivity dysphoria is something, that, in a holiday situation, there might be a group of kids and you might end up feeling a little bit left out, but then it's important to look at it, the situation, and say, are there other kids trying to leave me out? Or is maybe this my RSD? And that'll give you an opportunity to look at it objectively and think, well, actually, it's probably my RSD. Let me just go off and play with them. I'm sure they didn't mean to run off without me. They were just excited and they weren't thinking. So it's important to remember, and I have to say this for the kids, but it's important to remember for everybody that it's okay to take care of yourself, but it's okay to ask for help wherever you need to. That holidays are a time when we are often out of our normal safe environment where everything is known to us, and we're in new environments with new people and different settings, and it's really, really exciting and it's really fun, but it can be very overwhelming and it can make us feel anxious. So these tips for ADHD adults, tips for parents, and tips for kids, I hope will help you to stay a little bit happier and more centered during the holidays. And I wanted to leave a bit of time during the support session just to make sure that there was time for conversation and for sharing, because I think by sharing experiences in the support group is really where a lot of the benefit is. So I didn't want to take the whole time up with all of the tips. So I wanted to just give everybody an opportunity to ask questions from each other or share experiences or share tips of things that have really, really worked for them. I just wanted to share a story about my daughter. She's amazing. We go to restaurants where, she's probably a bit bored, and she takes the paper from the straws and wets them from the condensation on the side of her water glass, and then she uses bits of paper to create pictures on the side of her glass by sticking the tearing up the bits of paper of the straws and then sticking them onto the condensation and creating angels or things like that. And I think that that's so amazing, the way that, we can all self-regulate if we just give ourselves that space, and as parents to give our kids that space, not to say, oh, sit still in the restaurant, stop messing around, stop tearing up paper, because it's fantastic and it's so creative. And it's like, it just gives me so much joy to be able to see what she builds and what she creates when we're out at dinner. And it doesn't interfere with anybody else. So, let her do it. So anyway, that was just one personal experience that I wanted to share with everybody. I don't know if anybody has any questions or comments or anything they want to share with the group.
Thank you, Tash. That was very informative and really great. And my kids are old now, so I can't really say anything about that. But maybe Graham, you can?
No, I agree. But also, I mean, I just think about my personal family holidays. It can be, when you've got 4 families crammed into a holiday house, wherever it is, there's cousins running around, there's aunts and uncles, there's grandparents saying yes to whatever the hell the grandkids want. It's just, you're tempted to think, okay, I'm on holiday, I can relax, let the kids go be kids and do whatever the hell they want. You just have to remember that you're a parent. You need to put your boundaries in place, especially, hold on, my folks were here for dinner, so I just want to make sure they're gone. You need to set boundaries for grandparents because without looking like a monster, they do. They don't need to parent your kids anymore, and they're going to just say yes. So things like saying, my angel, you've eaten 5 chocolate eggs and it's only 10 o'clock. Let's take a break. And then grandpa's saying, yeah, have another one. You need to be able to say, Dad, I said no, So having boundaries in place with the other adults that are with you, whether they're aunts or uncles or godparents or grandparents, whatever it is, just so that your kids know that you are still the parent, and what when you talk that, you mean it without being, the term time taskmaster. Still being relaxed in the holidays is a very fine line, but it's a very important one that you can maintain. And then also just it's tempting, especially when you're in those social settings with your cousins or your brothers or sisters that you don't live with anymore. It's easy to relax and let the kids, play, but you need to remember as well that they're little and they're not used to being around their cousins 24/7. So setting aside, my wife does this. She invented it. She's really good at it. I've always talked about my wife. She's a saint. But saying to Hannah, it's quiet time, and taking her up to, our space, our room for an hour, letting her watch tablets or just have some time where it's just Megan and Hannah, quietly, not with the rush of everyone and everything that's going on. It will help your kids regulate for the rest of the day. It's just giving them that break from having to be social or be in this other completely different and unnatural situation. Just remembering that they just need a break, so that when it comes to bedtime, there's not this like complete overexhaustion, excited energy that means that they, can't keep their eyes open, but they're also bouncing off the walls. They've got so much sugar, but just trying to remember that you've got a little person that you're looking after, and you need to just maintain some normality in this different situation that you find yourself in when you're on holiday. Maybe.
Thanks, Graham.
Sure.
Anybody else would like to ask questions or add to the conversation of how they're able to regulate their kids during the holidays and not with sugar?
Sugar helps. So does alcohol.
And he just got her hand up.
She does it with her dogs.
So, hi everybody. I recently went to a wedding, so it was like a little mini holiday, and I realized how draining it is being, we went for a wedding. It was a lovely wedding, but I can't believe how quickly I was drained. So like the first evening, we all went as a group for dinner. The second day, there were some formalities. The third day, and by the end of it, I was exhausted. But what I realized was you have to go and have your little me time in those situations, because I did that quite a bit. Like there were a whole set of lunch things and dinners, and then I chose not to do 2 of them, and I went and did my own thing. And I think that really saved me as well. So also just with the ADHD, realize that we are a lot more emotional and we take on a lot of people's energy. So you've got to have that time for yourself to, regulate. Otherwise it just gets exhausting. So that's what I experienced recently with holidays. And
So we can't, we can't pour from an empty cup.
Quickly.
So that's where the self-care comes in. We really can't pour from an empty cup. We need to know what fills our cup up and then actually do it. Because we'll be a better person if we actually do it. So to know what
also
cup up.
Yeah, very true. Sorry.
No.
Also, the biggest thing that stood out for me was the mental preparation, because I think to myself, if I had put more time into actually mentally preparing myself and then expecting things, and I'm going to be with a lot of people, then I need more of the time out. Or I also realized I didn't take Ritalin. Maybe I should have actually taken my meds. I think that would have helped as well. So it's good to prepare. Now for next time, if we go away with a whole lot of people, and if we are going to like an event, a weekend away, a wedding away, for the holidays, or even just holidays, just mentally, that mental preparation, I think, is so important.
It's a self-awareness. So the self-awareness is everything. Because when you're self-aware, you self-reflect. And then you can correct and manage. So you can't change it if you're not aware. So just be aware of actually what is going to push your buttons, what is not, what you need to do to actually fill your cup up, to keep you optimal. And that's the most important thing, is just the awareness, and then putting that awareness into action.
It makes a huge difference for me, I have to say. Like if I, just having that plan and understanding what's going to happen, and it's 2 sides of a coin, so for me, it makes a big difference, and it makes it that much easier for me to manage. But at the same time, I also find I get thrown then if I'm not as flexible as I should be. So if I have a plan and I've mentally prepared for things to play out in a certain direction, sometimes if the plans change and that it's out of my control, then all of a sudden I'm like, no, but that wasn't my plan.
What I think would have been better, if I can go back, I would have focused on the fact that there's a lot of people, a lot of different personalities, and I need to put a boundary as well, like a little energy protector. So it's to just, it's awareness, like Tracy said, it's the preparation. And And then if things change, if plans change, just to also have that and say, look, things might change. And yeah, it's mental preparation and
And having that flexibility in your mind. So not having that rigid mindset, having that flexible mindset, as in, okay, so I can adjust and I can grow and I can still be okay. I can still be safe within that, which is quite scary.
I think another thing that we do with ADHD is that, you know, you kind of, because you go into holiday and you think, okay, I'm on holiday now, so I can switch off. And often that can be very, you know, self-absorbed. So, okay, so personally, as the dad, I can. It's easy for me to switch off and let my wife deal with the kids, or just have fun, or, you know, get pissed with my dad and my brother. But I think with ADHD, it's important that we stay mindful, and that we are present and we can know what's, you know, just stay aware of what's going on around us. So, you know, if I completely switch off from the kids and, you know, what's expected from me and leave everything for my wife to do, she's not having the holiday that I'm having. And that can breed resentment. So if, you know, from a male point of view, if you're the man in the relationship, just being aware of what your wife's going through, and you know, being able to say, all right, my darling, you go have a nap. I'm gonna take the kids for a while. I'm gonna stop drinking, or I'm gonna you know, miss the second half of the game, or whatever it is. But just you know, keeping in mind that you're, especially if you have a partner or friends or whatever it is that you're on holiday with, that you're not the only one that's trying to relax. So keeping that in mind.
That's a good point, Graham, because remember, with ADHD, it's double the divorce rate.
Yeah.
So it's really important to be mindful of each other. And actually, yeah, so we get carried away, but we need to be aware of what is our partner. How's my partner coping? How the kids coping? What can I do also to step up my game?
Yeah. So relax, sure, have fun, but also just be aware of, you know, the people that are around you.
Yes.
If you're the non-ADHD partner, it's about, again, setting the boundaries and being able to say, my darling, you need to put on your big boy pants and take the kids for a while because I'm going for a pedicure, or whatever it is. But you need to be able to say, this is what I need. I need you to focus. And negotiate that way, because you're a team at the end of the day. You know, if it's, you know, partners, romantic partners, or friends, or whatever it is. But setting those boundaries when you're away and things are a lot more loose is very important.
I think that's the most important, is that you're on the same team. A lot of the time, because of all the differences, you think you're not on the same team, but you are in the same team. You're all in the same team, bringing up the kids and being together, and then working that consciously and deliberately working it. Carrie, any
And if
questions?
your wife has said that's enough for today, then don't give them more chocolate.
Anybody else with any questions? So your closing message, Graham, Anita, and Tash.
All right, I'll go first.
Okay, go.
I think, you know, holidays are difficult to navigate because all the rules are different. The only thing you need to remember is to be aware of the people around you, and make sure that you're not so focused on your own relaxation and fun that you forget about the people you're with, especially if you're in tighter quarters. So boundaries and
Awareness.
awareness, yeah, being intentional.
Yeah.
If you are doing things, if you're just doing nothing because you have the opportunity to do nothing, you're not going to get the relaxation and the memories and the fun times that you have. There's a question from Tanya: how do you navigate the need to work during holiday to make up for lost productivity during school work period? I would say boundaries. You need to have boundaries at work, but if it's unavoidable, then planning, being intentional, saying to the family, I have 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of work that I absolutely have to do. I can do it in the morning after breakfast. What are you guys going to do? I need quiet. Or in the afternoon, you guys could go to the beach, whatever it is. But just setting aside that time and being intentional about it, not trying to fit in 15 minutes here, 15 minutes, because then it's going to take you 8 hours to complete. But if you have something to do, a task, set aside that time, talk to the people you're with, say, this is what I need. I need quiet. Can you go to the mall? Can you, do whatever you need to do, but, advocating for yourself, and, doing what you need to do, but just remembering that you're on holiday. Go ahead, Tash. I'm done.
So I wasn't sure if you meant that as an adult you need to work, or that you need to work with your children to catch up on schoolwork during the holiday, because I agree with what Graham has said. And I've been in situations where I've had to work. We've gone to Sun City, and my husband and I have alternated leave, and I've found a meeting room in Sun City, or, while he was with the kids. And then the next day I was with the kids. And it is about just being focused and creating that time and that space. In order to make sure that you're working productively, but with the kids and catching up on schoolwork. So one of the things that we really struggle with is the times table and maths, because it's that short-term memory. It's just a challenge. And so we have to, during the holidays, if I left maths and a couple of other things just for 3 weeks, we'd go back to school, and I think it'd feel like starting from scratch for my daughter. So we do a lot of gamification, of making it fun, and games, and having challenges and competitions in the family, where we do different times tables and we see who can get the most right in a row. So gamification is definitely one thing. The other thing that we are not shy to do, and it also works amazingly with ADHD kids, is rewards. So if they're going to get holiday money, they can earn their holiday money by, either doing I take some worksheets on holiday, and they can do a couple of worksheets in the morning, 15 minutes, whatever it is. It's like, what's so important is to come up with a plan with the kids, so that it's a collaborative thing, and say, look, this is what has to happen. How would you like to do it? Would you like to do 30 minutes in the morning before we head out? Would you like to do it before dinner time? What is it that, and come up with that plan together and agree the plan together. And then have a reward system that goes with that. If it's an extra ice cream, or it's dessert at dinner time, it doesn't have to be money, and it doesn't have to be sugar. It could be like, you get to choose where we eat tonight, or you get to choose what we have for dinner tonight, or you get to choose where we go for our walk tomorrow. There's all kinds of different things, and I'm not sure about all ADHD kids, but I know mine is competitive. So she loves that she gets to choose. So it really is about gamification. It's about rewards, and it's about collaborative planning. That's what I would say from my side. And that goes for the adults as well. You know, it's an extra drink with dinner. You know, maybe you can have a double gin and tonic instead of a single because you got all your work done.
Or-
I'm saying it works all round, guys.
Absolutely.
yeah,
Anybody else for the feedback before we close off for tonight? Thank you, Tash. Coach Tash,
thanks,
thank you,
Tash.
Coach Graham, that's Coach Anita, and everybody else who attended tonight. Really appreciate it. And it was really awesome. It really gave us a lot of insights and tips. Yeah, and there's lots we can do. There's always a lot of solutions to a problem. So thank you, everybody. And we look forward to seeing you next month, where Anita has asked if she could do, what would you like to do, Anita?
I want to do an interactive class on wise mind. So looking at your emotional mind. Have you guys done it recently?
I don't know.
No.
Emotional mind. So using your wise mind. So you've got the 3 minds, and we'll do worksheets and make it interactive. We'll do a quiz, like a questionnaire, and make it fun.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. And we look forward to seeing you next month.
Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a
Perfect.
great
Thanks,
night.
everybody. Have a lovely evening.
You too. Thank you. Thanks, Tash.
Cheers, cheers.
Thank you. Bye.